First of all, I most welcome you to Panama, Mr. Laar. This is an opportunity that we in the Fundación Libertad, a unique opportunity, I would say, to be able to chat with you about Estonia, the success of the Estonian reforms, and the future of Estonia, as well as your appreciation of Latin America. I think that we should start by talking about an easy topic by now. Your government and Estonia has become very famous because of the introduction of a flat tax. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about how were you inspired into going to a flat tax and what have been the results, and a little bit about how the European Economic Community now feels about the fact that you have a different tax system and a lower tax system.
First of all, it's my really pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invitation. Estonia is really the country which has got out from the misery thanks to the radical reforms and the flat tax. And why we introduced this? Actually, it's hard maybe to answer because for me, as I'm not an economist, I'm a historian. For me, the flat tax is just so normal. When we looked on such a progressive tax system which we saw in the different places in the world, it doesn't look to work. The people were not encouraged to work, they were punished. This was very ineffective, it didn't get the money to the budget, and it was very normal to move to the more easy, traditional tax system. I am a historian, so I know from the history that in the most time in the mankind, the people paid flat taxes. The progressive taxation is just of invention of the modern time and was actually proposed by Karl Marx. And I don't think when we have just take rid of the communism in the Soviet Union, why we must then continue with other ideas of Karl Marx. So we did it. And to be very frank, only afterwards I understood that this was some radical reform. So I thought this is normal. Looking on the books from Milton Friedman, it looked to be so clear that I was sure that lots of countries have done it, but that was not true then. And we introduced it. There was a lot of opposition in the beginning because it looked to be a new idea, the IMF, and everybody says, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And the results will be terrible, your budget will be out of order because when you decrease the taxes, then your budget will lose lots of money. But for me, it looked normal when I decreased the taxes. When I cut the taxes, then actually it must grow because the people will work more.
So you're saying that the IMF was against you putting a...
Yes, IMF and World Bank, everybody was against it. So that's my one small advice. Think always with your own head. So. And then we introduced it. And it worked very well. So in the first year, we earned back more money to the budget as we have done with the higher taxes, but this was a small difference. And then in the coming year, we started to earn lot of more. So the flat tax has been a very important part of Estonia's success story. It encouraged growth, it encouraged employment. It really was fair. It was easy to understand for people, easy to pay, but hard to avoid. So all this combination worked very well for us. And then other countries started to follow. So we have now the quite large amount of countries in the Central and Eastern Europe and in other places in the world who have introduced the flat tax, and the results are everywhere the same. This is a very positive one.
And of course, you're looking into the possibilities of becoming part of the European Economic Community. And the bureaucrats in Belgium and Brussels, they don't like low tax systems because they need money to feed themselves to make the community larger and fatter. What has been the reaction, or has been your strategy to deal with this potential threat to your system?
We are part of the European Union soon now. And the understandings of the flat tax and low taxes is very different in the European Union. I must say the majority of the countries are supporting the tax competition. There are some countries who are not, that's their problem. Which means that we are not only keeping our tax system, the flat tax, but we are widening it. So every year, the new countries, nearly every year, the new member states of European Union are moving, the next European states are moving to the flat tax. The next country will be Czech Republic, to do this. And this is a process which is not anymore possible to stop. This is happening in the Western Europe. A lot of countries are discussing to move to the flat tax. There is Finland, there is Denmark, Great Britain. There is even discussion in Germany, of course, only in the beginning stage. But the discussion is there, and what's happening that this tax competition, what we're offering from the new member states, is actually making taxes everywhere in Europe so now lower and flatter. In Finland, for example, only one part of one tax is not flat. Finland has made all their taxes almost flat. There's only one exception. And there is a going quite active discussion why not to make this one exception flat too. So it's a positive development which have come through the competition. Yes, the France attitude, to be very frank, has been that the tax competition is harming their interest, but that's this France problem, that is not the European problem.